Hi people, it's me again, Marino Ravenberg. This is going to be my quick review for any users or people that are interested in buying this phone specifically, and it's the Sony Xperia XZ-1 Compact. For starters, before I begin, you can find a link to this item and all of its specifications in the description of this video. That way you can see what all the specifications are, such as memory, hardware info, software info, you name it. Now yeah, here it comes. I've had a love for Sony phones. My first phone was a Z5, a Sony Z5, and I had that for a couple of years in 2018 until something happened to it. After that I had a Z1, and then I bought XZ-1 Compact. With the other ones, I don't really have anything other to mention other than the fact that all Sony Xperia phones, what you need to keep in mind, are more for colder climates, for environments with colder climates. So if you live in a country with a tropical climate, this phone is, any Xperia phone, Sony Xperia phone, will have difficulty coping with heat. Okay, the second you want to record a video outside and it's 30 plus degrees, it's only going to be a matter of time, literally like a minute or so before, again, literally like a minute or so before your phone will warn you that a couple of features have been deactivated due to overheating and blah blah blah, and it's only going to be a matter of time before the camera shuts itself down to protect itself. In relation to also another thing, all Sony Xperia phones, all models, okay, performance is through the roof. That's why I love Sony phones to begin with. When I first started buying Sony phones, I said to myself, oh boy, especially the video and image quality is just through the roof with vivid enhancement and whatnot. Now let's get down to it. With this phone, Sony Xperia XZ-1, plain and simple, performance is through the roof. Like I said, videos, you can record videos in 60 frames a second, full HD, so 1080p. Sony Xperia XZ-1 Compact, this phone, what I like about it is that it's small. That's why it's called a compact edition. It's really small, as you can tell and or see. As a matter of fact, the phone that I'm recording with right now is also an XZ-1 Compact. I've had 4 XZ-1s Compacts, a black one, a blue one, a gray one, this one, and the one that I'm currently recording with, a red one. Those are the benefits of this phone, and like I said, memory is 4 gigabytes. It could be better, but 4 gigabytes is decent by my own standards, of course. This is a personal preference. I like to push technology past its limits, anything I own essentially. But yeah, the phone holds up well in terms of quality. Video and audio quality, like I said, image quality through the roof, no issues. That's what I love so much about it. When I'm outdoors, despite the fact that I'm in a tropical climate, it's usually 35 degrees outside, I can record, and I can record easily for at least a couple of minutes before my phone will start giving faint warnings that you know, the temperature is increasing. But even then, it will still keep going. So you can record for a good 15 minutes outside without in 60 frames a second, without any issues really. Taking videos, you name it, everything is pure HD. You can really push the phone past acceptable limits. Let's just say I think the phone will hold up until it reaches 45 degrees. After that, it's really going to start crapping out, and the camera will seriously start giving you warnings that, hey, within a minute I'm going to shut myself down to protect myself from overheating, or to protect the phone from overheating. And yeah, that's essentially it. You'll see that as well in the specifications. I mean, thingy is through the roof. It's a 4G phone. It doesn't support 5G. But 4G is good enough for most people, including myself. At highest, 4G plus is what I've been able to notice in terms of internet or network speed, mobile network speed. For the rest, everything else works fine. And here comes the drawback, and it is a big drawback at that. And I've noticed it with all Sony phones in general, even the other ones that I've owned. But with this one, boy, the Xperia XZ-1 Compact takes the cake. It really takes the cake. This phone is just so sensitive, okay? Sony mass produces like any other manufacturer. They mass produce their Xperia phones. But especially this phone is so fragile, hardware as well as software related. And when I say fragile, I don't mean that if you drop it, for example, or when you drop it, it won't work properly anymore or anything like that. I mean that it's only when you own this phone, the chances, there's at least a 50% chance, 50% chance that if you own it, it's only going to be a matter of time before things start going awry. So things will start going wrong. I mean really wrong at that. Something's either going to happen with the hardware or with the software. For example, with the phone that I'm recording right now, my red Sony Xperia, the screen, I think, that's the way I received it, by the way. It didn't have this issue in the beginning, the issue that I'm about to mention, but after a couple of months or half a year worth of use, it started having this issue. And I remember this as well with a black one that I owned last year, a black Sony Xperia XZ-1 compact. Again, I've had 4 XZ-1 compacts. Like I said, a black one, a blue one, both of which I had to discard for reasons that I'm about to mention. This gray one and this red one. This red one, the screen is loose. The screen isn't literally loose, but my point is when you turn on the display, you can actually see, if you pay attention to the outer edges of the phone, you can actually see the backlight in the hardware itself, so within the phone itself. So it basically tells me that the screen is slightly loose, which makes it so that it causes issues with the speaker. So when I call someone and it's not on speakerphone, all of a sudden I won't be able to hear the person anymore. The person can still hear me, but I will not be able to hear the person anymore. And I've come to the conclusion, based on my observation, my keen observation, even if I say so myself, that the top speaker where you put your ear to hear other people, the screen and the speaker are mismatched. So this is most likely due to the fact that the screen is slightly loose. So basically, and I noticed that the second I press on the screen like this, I briefly press on the screen specifically where the speaker is, that all of a sudden I can hear the person again whom I'm talking to. But you can imagine how tedious it is when you have to do this every 5 minutes or every minute. All of a sudden, it'll start cutting off at random due to the fact that the screen got loose slightly. And then you need to press it again while talking to someone. I mean, you can see how tedious that is and how inconvenient it is. That's just one out of many examples. With this one, for example, I had severe software issues. This one is relatively new. I bought it this year. It's not even a year old in terms of use. I used it as a backup first, and then this one that I'm recording with as a main one. And then I switched it up. I said I'm going to use this one as a main one and that one as a backup. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if it's due to the fact that I did something. I briefly disabled a system app because I wasn't going to use it. For example, the virus, the antivirus software that came with it, I simply clicked on disable because I can't uninstall it. It's a system app. And I wanted to install my own downloadable antivirus application. And usually that doesn't cause a problem with no other phone that I've owned over the course of my life. But all of a sudden, a bunch of other things started malfunctioning. They started working improperly. I can, for example, start typing with Microsoft SwiftKey keyboard, and the keyboard keeps crashing every 5 minutes. I can start typing with someone, and all of a sudden, boom, the SwiftKey keyboard to stop working. You get that literally all the live long day, every 5 minutes or so. And you have an idea how annoying it is, and then it needs to reset itself, and then it's going to show up. It's going to show up again. So imagine if you're in the heat of the moment, in the heat of the moment, you're typing with someone, and you're typing rapidly. Something like that disrupts your entire flow, the entire flow of the conversation you were having. Because now it's going to take a minute for the keyboard to reset itself. I solved this issue by simply disabling or uninstalling the SwiftKey keyboard. I think the latter. I uninstalled the SwiftKey keyboard. And I simply installed Google's keyboard, Gboard or whatever the hell it's called. And that one has no issues. It doesn't crash or anything like that. But my point is I had a couple of those issues in relation to the software on this device. To the point where I simply said to myself, you know what, this is starting to annoy me. And I did a mass factory reset. I simply reset it back to factory settings, and I had to start all over again with installing my preferred apps and whatnot. I forgot to back up all of my data. So that's why I had to install all the applications again, log into all of them again, like Google and all of that. I had to do all of that again. And now it works fine, of course, but you can see what I'm talking about, how sensitive the phone is in terms of the Sony Xperia XZ-1 compact, both hardware as well as software wise. My point is, like I said, there's a 50% chance of something going wrong with it sooner or later if you use it. If you buy this phone and you start using it, again, you can easily look up faults online, and you'll find plenty of things that have gone wrong with the Xperia XZ-1 compact. I've easily looked up troubleshooting issues for the Sony Xperia XZ-1 compact, and boy, there are so many users out there complaining, and all of them have one thing in common. They all have the same issues that I mentioned before, more or less, and all of them agree with the fact that Sony's customer support is absolutely atrocious. Customer support is absolute crap. Sony does not do anything. If you contact a CSR, a customer support representative, Sony is going to tell you that they're going to walk you through the same tedious steps that you can easily find online. Reset your phone, reset it back to factory settings, worst case scenario. If it doesn't work, then simply send it in to have it repaired. And I've done so with the black one that I owned last year. All of that money spent for nothing because it costs a lot, especially if you live abroad, you're a non-US resident or similar, or a non-UK resident. You're going to ship it through a carrier, for example, FedEx or another one, an international carrier in any case, and nothing's gonna come of it. In my case, they simply sent my phone back to me and they told me they can't repair it, and they mentioned some cockamamie, idiotic reason that simply didn't make any sense, honestly. Some lame sorry excuse, and that's all. So I was stuck with the phone, and I said to myself, if I have to ship this phone twice or 3 times to have it repaired, that's an entirely new Sony Xperia phone, so I'd rather buy that one. I'd rather buy a completely new phone. Last but not least, I'm going to mention a severe problem. Echo, oh boy. At some point, I think I've come across at least 10 people online, at least 10, that have this issue. There were more, like 25, 50, and bear in mind, this was only after troubleshooting this online, looking it up. Only once for 5 minutes did I come across like 24 users that had the issue, and there was no solution other than what I'm going to mention. Echo. When you call someone or someone calls you, there is a tremendous echo in the background coupled with static. It doesn't matter how much you troubleshoot it, you don't have to be near any electronic devices, no computer, no TV, nothing. You can be in a static-free environment where there are no disruptions. And if someone calls you or you call someone, they're going to hear a severe echo. You might hear them fine, but generally speaking, you won't. There's going to be some kind of annoying acoustic quality to their voice that makes it so that you can't hear them, and it's going to make your ear and your head hurt subsequently as a consequence and or direct result. And they're going to openly tell you that they can't hear you properly. There is some huge echo and static in the background. So the second they say something, they hear their own voices, and they hear it echoed back to them in like a whale-like, sonar-like manner. So it's like, and if you just say hello, if the person says hello, how are you, and it literally bounces back off on them. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? It's so annoying. I've tested this myself with both devices, and both of them have this issue, despite the fact that they don't have a hardware or a software issue other than the ones I've mentioned in this video up to this point that I have either solved or haven't solved. It's just really annoying, and you can't even talk to someone for like a minute before you can't even keep up a conversation for a minute, let alone longer. So calling almost is off the table, and this is a serious issue, obviously. The only solution I found to this issue is using headphones. Yeah, you need to use headphones and or earbuds. It doesn't matter whether they're wired or wireless, does not matter. Point is, if you want to solve this issue and you want to be able to call people normally and converse with them normally, as in you can hear them clearly and they can hear you clearly, you need to use earbuds with the Sony Xperia XZ-1 compact if you have this issue. If you don't have this issue, then yeah, lucky you. But I'm warning you right now, based on everything I've set up to this point, yeah, you can see for yourself. The benefit is, yeah, performance of the Sony Xperia XZ-1 compact, no problem, it's excellent, marvelous. The drawback is that the Sony Xperia XZ-1 compact, Sony Xperia phones to a lesser extent all have this issue, is that it's substantially sensitive to, it's just plain sensitive, hardware as well as software wise. So the propensity for something happening, for something going wrong, sooner or later if you decide to buy this phone, is very high. There's a 50% chance that this phone will malfunction in one or multiple of the ways that I've described, or as I've described if you buy this phone. It's only going to be a matter of time. With all of these phones, when I first bought them, everything worked fine. All of a sudden, after a couple of months, all of the nonsense I mentioned starts acting up. It's either something, this happens or that happens, regardless of which phone I've owned and or used. And yeah, no, it's just a real pain in the ass. I'm not gonna lie to you, it can be a severe pain in the ass. Not gonna lie. Yeah. If you insist on still owning these phones, then you'll have to learn how to adapt, improvise, and overcome. The same way I've done so, because I don't want to buy another phone. These phones are brand new. I'm not gonna keep spending money on buying different phones. So whenever I need to call someone or someone calls me, I simply use a headset. I use earbuds and or a headset and problem solve. I can talk to them normally, you name it. Doesn't matter whether it's a VoIP call, so a call done through a network related application like WhatsApp or Telegram. For example, if someone calls me through WhatsApp or Telegram or vice versa, or whether it's a direct call, someone literally calls you directly on your mobile phone, SIM to SIM. It does not matter. You need to use a headset in order to solve this issue of the huge echo. I only looked this up briefly, 5 minutes. There are so many users which have the issue with echo, and I didn't find a single forum or a single website where people discuss this on a thread or on a post, and there was a tangible solution given. Not one of them. One user even went so far as to say that when he or she posted this on Sony's website or their forum, that the moderator simply removed or did something similar to removing his or her original post or comments that pointed out the same issue or other issues that Sony has. So Sony offers, not only does Sony not offer a solution, Sony simply just buries their head in the sand like an ostrich. They simply pretend like the issue doesn't exist, and they'll keep giving you the workaround. You'll keep going in circles when trying to reach out to their customer support. So yeah, Sony reaching out to Sony customer support is definitely not an option or a solution. They're just going to tell you the same nonsense: reset your phone, do a soft reboot, then a hard reboot, blah blah blah. Have you turned it off and turned it on again? It just goes on. So yeah, in the end, I would say it's a 50-50. If you want to just be able to use a phone on at an extensive level, so in the long term, for years to come, without any real issues, then definitely do not buy the Sony Xperia XZ-1 Compact. But if you insist on buying this phone because you love the specifications so much, the likes of which I mentioned, then yeah, buy it, but be prepared for the worst case scenario, which is all the stuff I've mentioned. Either one or multiple of these things will befall you, and the only way to cope with it is to do the things that I said. So that's all. Bye guys.